Hey, what's going on everyone? My name is Gary Blackwood. Welcome back to the vlog. Today we're playing 5, 5-10 and later 5, 10, 20 at the wonderful Hustler Casino here in sunny Los Angeles onto our first hand of the day. And we've got a bit of Jack King off going on in the big blind. My boy Mark Goon has opened under the gun to $60 because the straddle is on. I decide to make the call, as does the straddle. We go three ways to our first flop here. It is 10-9-4. We've got two overs and a gut shot to the nuts. Mark bets $125 and I decide to call. The straddle then raises it, but he only makes it $300 to go. It's a very small raise. Mark decides to make the call, and it's only $175 to me. With so much in there already, I decide to call as well, hoping to see a lady on the turn. It's actually a 7 to give me a double gutter. I check, and the straddle now checks. Mark is going to check this one back as well. To the river we go. It is a jack. I think I'm not ahead here very often, but my hand is also too strong to bluff, so I decide to check, as does the straddle, as does Mark, and Mark's pocket queens are going to scoop in the first pot of the day. Imagine a queen on the turn. It would have been absolute carnage. Still, no time to waste, as in the very next hand, I'm in the small blind with queen 9 of diamonds. I make it $70 to go. Straddle still on, hoping that continues today, and the straddle is going to put in the re-raise to $210. I don't love it, but my hand is just a little too pretty to fold. So I make the call, and we see a brutal flop of ace, 3 deuce, all clubs. I check, and the straddle then reaches for chips and then quickly checks. Now, from non-pros, that's usually a sign of relative weakness, and when you factor in this scary straight completing 4 on the turn, I decide to start bluffing immediately. I bet out for $275. Unbelievable live tell reads once again from me, as my opponent takes a moment and then puts in the raise to $775. I sigh. I make the fold. 0 for 2 in the first two hands today, hoping to finally win a hand here when I pick up ace king of diamonds in the small blind. Well-known hustler Reg Charlie has made it $60 to go on the button. I of course put in the re-raise. I make it $230 to go. The straddle then cold calls my re-raise. Big pot brewing here, and after 20 or so seconds, Charlie moves all in for $1,500, and then I decide to do this. To be honest, I've always wanted to Phill Hellmuth 2008 style push my chips in like this when making a call, and I just decided, you know what, today's the day. The straddle gets out of the way, Charlie's got ace king offsuit, and we run it twice to see if either of us can suck out on the other.
I got two suits.
Oh yeah, double suit.
Yeah.
Oh, it's all red. Who's gonna get it? Little backdoor sweat for both of us on the first flop, but we end up chopping as expected. Still yet to win a decent pot so far today, and once again hoping that'll change when I pick up another monster. This time it's ace king offsuit, once again in the small blind. Early position is limp for 20. The straddle is still on. There's been a raise to $80 and then a call, and I put in the re-raise to $350. Very standard to go bigger here with the big raise and then the call. The limper then takes about 30 seconds and whips out the limp re-raise to $1,320. Not even an all-in. I really don't love this. Everyone else gets out of the way, and I only started the hand with $1,500. I've also already put $350 of that in the middle, and he might do this with queens, so I decide to just sigh and go with it. And what do you fucking know? He's got pocket aces. This day looks to be going from bad to worse, unless I can find a miracle suck out here. We're running it twice, and I'm going to make you guys a very quick deal here. If I lose the first board, but somehow win the second board, the 60% or so of you watching that are not yet subbed to my channel have got to pause the video and click the sub button. Deal? Deal. Over to you, dealer. Turn card. Oh. Mess up. Once again, I've balanced my sub request. I gotta find some fun when losing 3k in the first 90 minutes of the day today. No help to me there. I've been limp raised by aces and lost my entire stack. This could get very ugly unless I start winning some hands soon. Next up, I'm in the small blind with queen 10 offsuit. Easy raise for me, of course. I make it $70 to go. The straddle decides to defend. We go heads up to jack 8-5 with 2 clubs. Gut shot, overcard, betting lead. I decide to c-bet here for $75. The straddle is going to call to the turn. It's a deuce that brings another flush draw. He should have almost no turn two pair, so I decide to keep betting. I fire that second barrel for $225. After a few seconds, the straddle then raises me to $725. What is happening today? Another L as I sigh and fold my hand. I cannot get anything going today. Next time I'm in the straddle with pocket fours. The middle blind is raised to $70 and I make the call. Finally managed to flop a big hand here. Bottom set on a very wet board. The middle blind checks it on over to me and I decide to bet out for $110. Thankfully he doesn't check fold. He makes the call and we see the ace of spades roll off on the turn. He checks and I decide to bet very, very big here for $370. Lots of draws. He can have turn top pair and it looks like I'm bluffing when I bet this card, so I really like my big size here. Unfortunately, he does make the fold, but this is the first real pot that I've won today, so hopefully this is the turning point for me now. And a couple of hands later, I pick up pocket sixes in the small blind. I make it $60 to go. The middle blind makes the call, and the big blind puts in the squeeze to $320. We're all only about $1,700 effective here, so I don't think we have a call. But how the hell am I going to get out the hole for the day by folding? I make the call. We go heads up to ace, queen, six. What a flop this is. Set in the last hand and set in this hand as well. I check and he c-bets here for $180. Normally I'd always raise this hand, but the stack to pot ratio is so small that I decide to just call. If the turn goes check check, I can still shove the river and play for all the chips. The turn is an offsuit 10 and unfortunately it does end up going check check. Lots of bad rivers, but an offsuit 4 is definitely not one of them, and I stick to the plan. I move all in for $1,215. No snap call from my opponent with a better hand. My opponent goes into the tank for a very, very long time. I am willing him to make the call here, hoping to put a big dent in how much I'm down for the day right here, right now. And after 2 whole minutes, he calls. Let's go. A full double up with my set of sixes as I show him the bad news and he mucks his hand. This is the biggest pot I've won so far today. Really happy to be dragging this one in, and hopefully we're going to get some momentum going now. Next up, I'm in the $20 straddle with jack deuce of spades. Early position makes it $70 to go. Again, probably not a call here, but you guys know the drill. Can't fold my way back to even. To the flop we go. It is king 9-5 with 2 spades. I check and my opponent decides to check this one back. A dreamy 3 of spades rolls off on the turn. Time to try and build a pot with my flush. I bet $110 and EP takes a few seconds before making the call. Another 3 rolls off on the river. Another easy value bet for me. I bet out for $300, close to the size of the pot, and get snap called by my opponent. I show him my flush and he mucks his hand. Another pot coming my way here. Things were looking bleak about 30 minutes ago when I was down about $4,000, but now we're slowly climbing out of it. Just gotta keep it going here. Next up, I'm in the cutoff with ace queen offsuit. I raise it on up to $60. No respect for my raise here as I get 4 calls. 5 ways to the flop here. It is queen 10-6 with a flush draw. I've got top pair, top kicker, and I bet out here for $160 just to thin the field a little bit, but the button is going to make the call, as does the small blind. 3 ways to the 6 on the turn. Really don't love that card, so when it checks to me, I decide to check as well. The button does not check. He bets out for $300. The small blind folds. I, of course, ain't going anywhere just yet. I call, and we see an offsuit 4 roll off on the river. Kind of happy to see the button check back here. I wasn't folding, but I wouldn't have loved it if he had gone ahead and bombed the river. I turn my hand over, and once again, my opponent cannot beat it. He mucks, and I scoop in another nice pot. After a disastrous start to the day, I'm now actually only down about $1,500. The game has been converted also to 5, 10, 20, which basically means less rake for everyone. Never a bad thing. Next up, I'm in early position with pocket fours. I raise it on up to $50. The hijack is going to put in the re-raise to $160. It folds back around to me, and you guys know the drill. I cannot fold my way back to even for the day, so I make the call. We go heads up to the flop. It is 9-7-4. Another set for me. This is insane. He bets $125, and I don't decide to slow play. I instantly bust out the check raise and make it $400. He's not going anywhere just yet. He makes the call. Big pot brewing here. To the turn, it's the ace of hearts. It's not ideal, but I still have a very strong hand, so I decide to keep betting. I choose a small size. I bet $375, just trying to get him to call with any one pair hand that he might have. He is going to fold, which is a little disappointing, but this could have been a whole whole lot worse if he had just turned a flush. And it is another 4-figure-ish pot coming my way. Really can't complain too much. And next up, we have a very fun hand versus the same guy. I'm on the button with ace 4 offsuit and raised to $60. The middle blind is going to call. We go heads up to queen 10 4 rainbow. He checks and I decide to throw out a small C bet for $70. He's going to make the call here. To the turn, it's an offsuit jack. I, of course, have the ace king advantage here, so I decide to turn my hand into a bluff, ready to triple off. I bet again for $225. Not going to get the job done just yet as he makes the call. The river, however, is going to save my bacon. It's a straight completing king. Delighted to have gotten there and no longer needing to bluff, but very disappointed when my opponent donks into me for $425. That almost always means it's going to be a chop here, but he's only got $600 behind and he might have a set and misread the board. He might call with a 9. Anything could happen. It is live poker after all. So I don't call for the information to see what he's got. I decide to put him all in and he actually snap folds. How the hell is he bluffing the river here? I really didn't expect to see that, but I will absolutely take it. Was so convinced that we were going to chop there. On a massive heater over the last couple of hours, looking to keep that going here when I look down at pocket kings. What's more, the $40 straddle is on in this hand. Under the gun makes it $125 to go and I put in the re-raise to $400. It folds all the way back around to under the gun, who makes the call. Almost 1k in the middle as we head to the flop. Don't love that ace in the window, but oh my god, that's a king behind it. That is beautiful. My next upswing model is going to be on how to flop sets every single hand. The excitement is short-lived though, as I bet $300 and he makes a pretty quick fold. A little anticlimactic there, but I just can't be too greedy. I am flopping sets left and right and winning all the medium-sized pots. Next up, the $40 straddle is still on. That's because I am in it and I've got a couple of red deuces. The button makes it $125 to go. The small blind calls, the big blind calls, and I, of course, come along as well. 4 ways to the flop, and oh my god, it's another set. This is truly insane. I've never experienced anything like this in my life. Now, can we get paid this time? Not looking likely as we all check the flop. The turn is an offsuit 5, and when it checks to me, I bet out for $310. The small blind is a non-pro, and a very tight non-pro at that, and he actually check raises me to $900. Very surprised to see this. It folds round to me, and I cannot stress to you how tight this guy has been playing. After the $900 raise, he's probably only got about $1,700 behind. I swear to God, guys, I thought long and hard about this, and I actually came to within an inch of folding my hand. I'm not lying about that one bit. It just felt like he had pocket 5s or 7s always. At the last second, however, I gave myself a mental bitch slap, told myself you can't fold this, and moved all in. So happy when I do that to fade the snap call. I really expected him to snap me off with a set, but it takes him 60 seconds before he decides to go ahead and make the call. I immediately show my hand. I offered to run it twice. I'm always a run it twice kind of guy, regardless of the situation. He says twice and turns over his hand. What's this super duper tight passive non-pro got? 7-5 offsuit. Nearly fell out my chair. I couldn't believe that, given how tight he had been playing. 2 very clean rivers later, and I'm dragging in a pot worth almost $6,000. Thank God I didn't fold. I'd probably have retired if I folded face up and he showed me his 2 pair. Now, despite me winning all these hands lately, there of course have been a bunch of small or medium pots where I've called a re-raise and check folded. They're of course kind of boring and they don't make it into the vlog, but still over the course of the day, running really well overall. Definitely can't complain one bit. Onto our final hand of the day, I am in the small blind with pocket 10s. The hijack makes it $60 to go. The button calls and I put in the squeeze to $310. Only the hijack makes a call. To the flop we go. What's this? No set? I can't believe it, to be honest. I was kind of expecting the ace 10 6 flush draw. I decide to play my hand here and not my range and check it on over to the hijack. He thinks for a second and then checks it back. The turn is an offsuit 7 and I check again, and this time the hijack bombs it for $800. This is a very large bet, and to be honest, this is also why I checked the flop. This non-pro is very aggressive and I am happy to shut my eyes and call down regardless of the run out. I make the call and a king rolls off on the river. I check with the intention of check calling if I really need to, but thankfully he waves the white flag, checks back, tells me I'm good. I show my hand and drag in the last pot of the day. Very scary spot to finish up there, but what a great day of poker it's been overall. After being down thousands in the first 90 minutes or so, I have run very well indeed to book a very nice win to the tune of $3,028. And that brings us to the end of today's episode. Was down about 4k after 90 minutes or so, but battled back, ran kind of well, flopped a couple of sets. and booked a very nice win around $3,000. As ever, guys and girls, if you've enjoyed the show, go ahead and click that sub button. Lots of amazing content coming your way. The next vlog is going to be wild, biggest ever losing day incoming. So yeah, go ahead and click that sub button. Until next time, guys and girls, take it easy.